All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to this Sunday night live. Let me get over here, take a peek at futures. So futures gapping up a little bit. Nothing monster, but we closed kind of weak. Into the close there. So nice to see a little bit of a bounce there. And always, when we talk about the futures, at the end of the day. We use it as a guide. Typically, unless there's a massive gap up or a massive gap down, there's not a ton of information there. But always nice to see, gapping up on a Friday night gives us an indication that we will have some bullish nature into the next day. So, recapping the last week, indexes traded mixed overall. Some weakness midweek, but strength late. S&P, NASDAQ, Dow all stayed near record levels. And then the inflation and PCE data kind of came in as expected, flat to modest. A market kind of shook that off. A lot of those data points are, this one was kind of expected. No one really expected something out of left field, but narrative centered on rate cuts already being priced in. We talked about that, last Sunday night and the Sunday before that. I was hoping for a jumbo cut. We didn't get it, but that quarter point rate cut was basically priced in. Hence, there wasn't any, big reaction to that. And then Intel, lot to talk about with Intel. Intel and NVIDIA announced a joint development of AI and compute platforms, NVLink integration, and Intel making custom data center PCs and CPUs. Now, remember, this is after the U.S. government took a stake. So we're all, and I actually like this, Intel. If you watched my Schwab TV interview on Friday, I kind of came with the America First watch list, Warner Brothers, Boeing, and Intel. And Boeing and Intel were a couple of those plays, a couple great American companies that really lost their way with a lot of their terrible hiring and management decisions. And, ultimately, especially Boeing, losing track of what really mattered, building amazing airplanes and making a lot of money. I don't think Intel had as much of that problem. Intel just failed to innovate at the end of the day. But back to Thursday, I kind of talked about exciting to see the U.S. taking a stake in a company like Intel. I'm all for that. Basically, we're all shareholders now. But they also trimmed their full year operating expenses outlook. So that's good. And then they deconsolidated their Altera unit. Now, feature stock of the week is Intel. A lot, I already touched on some of it. But why I like it, again, momentum revival, markets reacting positively to the NVIDIA collaboration, and Apple is talking about possibly taking a stake as well. Their operational discipline showed cutting, their costs outlook. They're trying to, get cash flow to better levels, which, obviously better cash flow, better profits helps the shares of the stock. So we're really looking for watches the reclaim of those breakout zones from last week. Looking for volume confirmation as always. If it does gap up, okay, I don't think so. Basically, looking for a week open, retest basically. But let's say if Intel does gap up, I love the orb. Okay, a lot of you guys know the orb setup. We talk about it a lot in DIT. That's that opening range breakout. And then if we get a pullback, just look for bounces off of support. So really you have three plans there for Intel. You got, the week open, you got the gap up, and then if it does pull back hard, just look for bounces off of support. And then, again, keep an eye out. As always, I would use your breaking news as always. Yeah, I know. I got the flag. Actually, if I sit up, it's better. So I know the flag. I guess somebody told me the trick with the flag is actually, I'm going to I'm going to go to Amazon right now. Thank you for reminding me. But I think if you get clear matte spray paint, that's the trick I heard. Yeah, right there. So I guess if you put matte spray paint on the back, you don't see it, and then it gets rid of the reflection. Thank you for the tip, though. I am still working on the studio, so I'm in the new studio now. Actually, a lot of you know I'm known as the cat daddy. Actually, I've got this here. Still working on the new office, but some of you guys last week asked for looks of it. So actually, let me do this. The lovely Mrs. Bohen just, where's my share screen? There it is. So share screen and entire screen. This one, share. Let me get my matte spray paint ordered here. But buy now. Place order. So I'm still working on the landscaping, so cut me a little slack. But the lovely Mrs. Bohen just got me some pumpkins, and check this out. So still working on the landscaping, cut me some slack. But look at my cute little cat ghosts. Look at him, look at them. And they light up. I think they might even meow when you walk by them. So she got me again, cut me some slack on the landscaping. Okay, I got to fix this over here. I got to fix this over here. But so I'm upstairs of this little detached home office. And anyway, I just had to show you the cute little cats. They light up. And like I haven't turned them on yet, but I think like when you walk by them, they like meow at you. So anyway, so sorry about the distraction. Back to Intel. Let me get over to my notes here. Hey, we're live. We can have a little fun. You know, hey, what the hell? So get back to the notes. So where was I? Oh, anyway, all three contingencies on Intel. Basically gap up, gap down, or that sideways option. Stuff to watch this week. Let me get over to the calendar. And we've got, where's the calendar? So week ahead, top earnings. We've got CCL, nuclear stock. Okay. So whether you trade CCL or not, definitely one to keep an eye on. Nike and then MTN. We're kind of past earnings season. So right now, understand that, funny note. A lot of you guys are commenting on my shorts. It kind of feels like an off-topic night. Get this, guys. So everybody likes, remember, my love of Magnum PI. Okay, so check this out. Check this out. So I was in Vegas last week, and where is it? I check into the Cosmo Hotel at like midnight. Kind of feels like a pretty random night for the watch list. So I check into the Cosmo about midnight, and as I'm walking up to the front desk, the guy at the front desk is like, "Ooh, I love your shorts and your mustache." And so I'm like, okay, I'm like, hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it. And then he starts like really chatting me up. Like, what brings you to town? Now listen, I stay, I'm in hotels all the time. I was in Vegas and LA last week. I mean, it's kind of the standard thing. You check into a hotel. What brings you to town? What are you doing while you're here? But this dude's really chatting me up. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And guess what? Check this out. As he hands me my room key, hold on. Let me get to the right screen here. As he hands me my room key, he proceeds to slip me his number with my room key. You can see my room key in right there. Slips me his number, like comes around the counter, like hands the key to me and is like, "Yo, give me a call." I'm like, "What?" So, ladies, I know how you feel. I felt like a piece of meat. I felt so dirty. So, ladies, I know how you feel. I did block out Bronson's number. If anyone wants Bronson's number, shoot me a DM. You know, from the sounds of it, Bronson likes to party and likes to have a good time. So shoot me a DM if you want Bronson's digits. Anyway, back to stocks. Sorry, but everyone was commenting on the shorts. So anyway, back to the agenda. That's a 100% real story, by the way. So Tuesday, we got the JOLTS job openings, Case-Shiller home index. Wednesday, ISM manufacturing and ADP employee report. We also got the big one is Thursday. So all of you guys in the daily income trader system, FYI, I'll be doing an extended webinar Thursday morning for the initial jobs claim. So those in DIT and MIA and RC, I'll just put it. So extended PMP on Thursday for the jobless claims. So FYI, I know a lot of you guys are in DIT. I know a lot of you guys try and attend as many webinars as you can, but you always can't attend all of them. I would definitely be on Thursday if you can. So Thursday, I'll probably do an hour plus, just kind of strategizing, interpreting the jobless claims, etc. So I've been doing that the last few weeks. We've had all these data drops. So this week's big data drop is Thursday morning. So if you are in DIT, and you can, you know, again, I know not everybody can be on every webinar. Definitely try and be there this Thursday, 8:30. We'll probably go an hour plus, trade through the market open, trade through 9:45. Maybe we'll trade an RCT as well. But anyway, be there Thursday if you can. So when the jobless claims, because jobless claims drop at 8:30. Then Friday, we have the monthly U.S. jobs report at 8:30. And that's the one that Jay Powell will be watching the closest. So keep an eye on that on Friday. That one also drops at 8:30 Eastern as well. Let me run through the calendar. Those are the big hitters. I'm just looking for anything else on the calendar this week. Yeah, I got the big ones. And then let me get back to my agenda here. Where is it? So, just the rest of the watch list. Actually, let me get you guys that link. As always, I always drop the link to the watch list. Definitely subscribe. 100% free. Another list, a lot like last week, kind of a nice list of swings and day trades. And all the three swing trades were from Schwab on Friday. But the two I want you to watch for RCTs, main to basically pre-market as well as Oracle Signal, JFB. So JFB was a cool one on Friday. Breaking news dropped the news of the pipe. So again, all of you guys should either check out breaking news or make sure you're using it. 4:31 p.m. Friday night, breaking news alerted that pipe. And the biggest reason I mentioned that is maybe you didn't see JFB, maybe you missed it. But the point is that be watching for these pipe headlines, okay? The pipes, private investment in public equity. Basically, the two biggest themes we have right now in day trading are the Bitcoin treasury stuff. I'm sure you guys all know about that. I mean, anytime you've got one of those Bitcoin treasury ideas, it's one to watch. And the other one is these pipes, okay? So FYI, always know that you'll follow these. So it does, now keep in mind, doesn't mean you automatically buy the stock when there's a pipe or when there's Bitcoin treasury. But if all of you should be running your news screeners looking for headlines, okay, if you don't have breaking news. The beauty is if you have breaking news, you don't need a news screener. But for those of you that don't have breaking news, screen for keywords, okay? You should be screening for private placement, treasury, stuff like that right now. Now that changes, okay? Depending on what the hot sector is, we screen for different keywords. Now, when you get a match on that screen, doesn't mean you just automatically buy the stock, but you want to know when that headline hits, and then you run them through the checklist, basically. So is it low float? Is it a former runner? Like the reason, one of the biggest reason JFB went up so much is because, less than 1 million float. So pretty much anytime you get news on a micro float like that, you're going to get some kind of spike, especially when it drops in after hours, okay? This is why, the RCT is such a great pattern, because most of the news, so remember a lot of the reasons the RCT works so well in pre-market and after hours is you got a lot going on. You've got much less liquidity, okay? You've got people just chasing stocks, which creates the big move, and no volatility halts as well. So the nice thing is, think about if JFB had dropped that news midday, it would have halted 6 times before it got to $20. Like, that's why the RCT is such an amazing pattern, because we 99% of the time we're applying it in pre-market and after hours, because you don't have to deal with the stupid volatility halts. And JFB would have never went, from $7 to 20 in about an hour during the market day, because it probably would have halted 6 times. Yeah, and John Gauch, actually, let me share my screen. John Gauch mentioned it right here. So you get that parabolic move from 7 to 10, pulls back, puts in the RCT, and then re-breaks the high at 950, almost immediately went to 12, basically did another RCT and went vert again. I mean, look at how, this is a little bit of an atypical example. I wouldn't call JFB, we don't see this a ton, but look at what it does every time it breaks the candle body high. 3 separate times. Basically, it did it at 4:37, did it at about 5 o'clock, a little before 5, and then did it again a little after 5. And then after that, never broke out again. So, you could have traded one of these. You could have traded all 3 of them. Oh, nice, Rat. Man, guys, can I, give gold stars? I always wonder. So, number 1, John Gauch, gold star. I'll show your comment on screen. And what I love about Radhams, I butchered your name, is as he called it, I wasn't watching the comments, and so this is where, thank you, Radhams, I know I'm butchered your name, for backing up what I'm saying, because I wasn't looking at chat, I was explaining it. That is also the other beauty of the RCT pattern, is it's one of those ones that's just so easy to use. And as I was explaining, I wasn't even looking at chat, that there were 3 distinct RCTs. He's like, there were 3 RCTs on JFB on Friday. So yes, thank you, Rad Hames and John Hausch, for paying attention, for studying. Love it. So anyway, JFB did that move. And then what I like is after that, I mean, look at this just kind of tight band of consolidation. So what we're looking for on Monday, oh, well, listen, if I got pop nutters in, oh my goodness. If we can get a morning fader on JFB, oh, it will be a chef's kiss. I don't think it's going to fade though. Now, if it does, we'll be ready. It's one of our core patterns, okay? But I think what's more likely is this thing's just going to kind of chop around in that range right there. Basically the same range from 5:30 into the 8 p.m. close. Notice how it just kind of bangs around, but held the the after hours consolidation level. And so basically, what I like about these channel trades, and also remember, I drop those lines manually, but I guarantee, actually, I'll screenshot it and I'll revisit this. When Oracle resets tomorrow morning, well, I can't guarantee. I can say with extremely high certainty that there's going to be support and resistance levels that line up almost exactly where I drop those purple manual lines. Now, the reason I make that point is learning technical analysis takes some time. It takes some time to learn. You don't learn it overnight. But, so you might have saw me drop those lines and you're like, how'd you do that so fast? Well, just study chart patterns religiously. Many of you have heard me say, study charts till your eyes bleed, okay? But if you're new, that is one of the absolute great things about the Oracle algorithm is technical analysis is programmed into it. So you don't even need to drop those lines. I can say with extremely high certainty, when Oracle resets at 4 a.m. Eastern, there's going to be support and resistance levels that are probably pennies away from those 2 lines that I drew. So that's the beauty. I would still highly recommend learning technical analysis. You guys know my fondness of Brian Shannon's book. I beg all of you almost every week to read it. But if you're new, it takes time to learn. A great shortcut is simply using the Oracle support and resistance lines because it basically does it for you. So that being said, I'm hoping JFB bangs around in here, then breaks out of that range, and then we'll risk the lower level. Then the last 2 I want to go over, and then I got to get out of here. AQMS, also butting up against that major resistance level. This was a beautiful morning runner and afternoon runner. Hit flux on Friday afternoon, was a great trade, and then held the flux stop loss. So the flux algo is the one that looks for the afternoon VWAP holds. This hit it, spiked about 50, 60 cents. Nice trade. And then it pulled back into the close, but never hit the flux stop, and then ground up in after hours. So love to see that for tomorrow. Basically hoping it continues to firm up here, and then we can basically, trade those whole dollar, half dollars, get the new support and resistance lines, the major resistance to actually guide us through entries on this. And then the last one that I want you to keep an eye on, funny enough, is Flux. This was one of those stocks. Who remembers RGTI? Who remembers the RGTI discussion from 2 weeks ago, right? I was flying to Austin, right? Yeah. Would have been last week I was in Vegas and LA, week before I was in Austin. It would have been 2 weeks ago tonight. We talked about RGTI showing up on the VWAP hold pattern and the flux algo, but it had no news. Now, obviously, we all know what our GTI has done since then. Just beautiful. Okay. Absolutely beautiful. Now, Flux, the stock, not the algo, Flux hit with a 350 entry and ran up into the close. Now, the reason I want you to watch this is, or even, or this one didn't make the weekend watch list. Some of you might be saying, hey, this wasn't on the weekend watch list. And the reason it wasn't was because of the liquidity. Okay. Notice this thing only traded 500,000 shares the entire day. You guys know I only alert or, discuss very liquid stocks because unlike every other scumbag in this industry, I never want to influence price action. Now, all the other scumbags just push stocks around and it's disgusting. But the reason Flux wasn't on the watch list was because it only traded 500,000 shares. Now, the reason I'm bringing it up now is because it's a good bookend to 2 weeks ago on our GTI, because our GTI was another one that that did the VWAP hold pattern on a Friday afternoon, wasn't trading crazy volume, but made the exact same move that Flux did. And then guess what? Our GTI had all kinds of news the following week. So when the tip is, when you see a stock like this, make that move at 3:30 p.m. on no news. That's one of those situations where you're like, wait a minute, does somebody know something here? Like, did maybe somebody catch word that there was news coming next week? And that, like, explain to me, especially those of you, I mean, I know most of you are newer, but like, if you've been around, you've been trading for a while, explain to me that move on Flux, unless someone heard there was news coming, or maybe not even, maybe they were tipped off. Now, again, don't trade on insider information. I would never do it. I never have done it. I never will do it. But these are the types of stocks that you're like, wait a minute, explain that move at 3:30 p.m. on a Friday, unless maybe somebody knew something. Now, the Flux algo is just an algo. It's a price action algo. It strictly looks for stocks exhibiting the VWAP hold pattern. Now, this one did hit the Flux algo, $3.50 entry, closed at basically 380, and it made the same move at the same time of day for no other reason, exactly like our GTI did 2 weeks ago. So that's why I want you guys to keep an eye on this. Now, I'm sure some people bought it because it hit the Flux algo and they're up 30 cents a share. Congrats. But I want you to know about this one because it really matches up very closely with our GTI from 2 weeks ago. And again, some of you might have charts, some of you might not. But our GTI last 2 weeks just been on an absolute tear. I mean, look at the, let's go to the 2 week, let me go to the 15-day chart. This thing has just been taking souls. And I think, going to re-break out as well. So basically 2 weeks ago, it was like $15 a share, over $30 into, so 100% plus move in 2 weeks after it showed up on the Flux algo 2 weeks ago, after it exhibited all of the same characteristics as Flux, the ticker, did this Friday. So, all right, guys, let me just double check my agenda and then I'm going to bust out of here. Just make sure I didn't miss anything. Intel, love it. And yeah, last point. The team bugged me. So guys, if you're on YouTube, every week people are like, when is the live stream, etc. The team reminded me of this. So, guys, if you're on YouTube right now, hit the subscribe button and ring the and hit the bell too, okay? Because a lot of you guys know Matt Monaco and Bryce Tui, my boys. Money Matt Monaco and 8-foot-tall Bryce Tui. I'm telling a lot of stories tonight. Did I ever tell you guys the time they had me do like a interview with Bryce Tui? It was like for the YouTube. Did I ever tell you? I don't think I've told you. I don't know if I've told anyone. So I'm doing an interview like a YouTube video with Bryce Tui. Awesome guy. Nicest guy in the world. Love that kid. They had to get me a crate. I had to stand on a crate to interview this kid. He's like 7 feet tall. I don't even know how tall he is. Kind of hurt the pride. And the best part was I was on the crate and I was still like shoulder high with him, even standing on a crate. Anyway, Money Matt Monaco and Bigfoot Bryce. I got a new nickname for Bigfoot Bryce Tui. How did it take me so long? I've known Bryce for like 10 years. It took me 10 years to come up with Bigfoot Bryce Tui. So anyway, subscribe, ring that bell. That way you know when I'm live. You know when Money Matt and Bigfoot Bryce are live. I'm going to make them change the name of their live stream. I'm going to make them change it. It's not going to, I think it's called like Market Open Live or something. It's going to be Money Matt and Bigfoot Bryce from now on. So anyway, guys, if you're wondering when we're live, when new videos drop, etc., hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. That way you get notified when any of us goes live. So, all right, guys, have a great night, and everyone in DIT, we'll see you tomorrow morning.